Welcome to the Ship's Gonna Happen podcast, episode number 66. My name is Tony B. Driving alongside me as usual is David B. and Timmy D. Today we have an interview with Jess Trucking Around. That's a nice title, isn't it? Jess Trucking Around. You can catch her on YouTube at Jess Trucking Around, and she'll tell us the other platforms you can catch her on too. We are just three Americans discussing the topics that affect the transportation industry. Our views, the views of us three, are purely news-driven and do not express the views of any transportation provider or any business entity that uses a transportation provider. Timmy D, I forgot what we do it for.
Transportainment.
Boom. That's right, transportainment. You can catch us on YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Google Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and our home website, www.ShipsGonnaHappen.com. All you have to do is Google us in that search bar, and you will find Ship's Gonna Happen. David, me. Happy Saturday morning.
Good Ship's Gonna Happen morning to the both of you guys. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Got sprinkled on a little bit on the way over, so a little bit of rain, but my yard definitely looks like we could use some rain.
We did, yeah, I think so.
Coming through downtown Indy this morning, just a nice, smooth drive coming in. It was just a beautiful Saturday morning. This morning's show, along with all the rest, are brought to you by The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indianapolis. Good place to go after a Ship's Gonna Happen week and kind of unwind and hang out with the locals and get a good meal and listen to some good music. I was there extremely late last night, and
imagine that.
Yeah, it's weird.
Shocker.
I'm feeling it this morning. It caused me to be tardy this morning, or late, or whatever the word you
Every
want to
once
use.
in a while, Tim and I play Guess Where Dave Is, and we usually win.
That's so weird. Anyway, The Great Divide, 743 East New York Street, downtown Indy. Great place to go and kind of let the Ship's Gonna Happen week unwind. Timmy D, how are you this morning, my friend?
Good, brother. How are you guys doing? It's I don't think we're supposed to have rain today. I know it's supposed to warm up here in the Midwest and get stupid hot over the next couple of days, but
Tony likes stupid hot. You like stupid hot?
I love it, man.
I can't do hot.
I love it.
I don't know. I'm an air conditioning guy. Gotta have
I like air conditioning,
but I think I'd take hot over cold. That's for sure.
So
but,
would you take 9? You would take 93 over 9. Is that what you're saying?
All day, every day.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
No.
I wear shorts when it's 9 degrees out.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
93
Yeah.
9 all day long.
Okay.
So.
All right.
But excited to have Jess Trucking Around. I mean, great. What a catch line.
That's great.
I got to ask her when we get into it with her about how she came up with that. That is awesome.
That's an awesome name.
It's very informative. If you guys haven't seen it, check her out. Especially you young drivers out there. She definitely puts out some good information to have in your tool belt, as I would like to call it.
Nice,
so,
yeah.
Yep.
Now, what's up, Tony B?
Hey, man, thanks for kicking it back to me. Happy to see you two, the three amigos, again in the Dragon Dome Studios.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, our Jess, our town name is the high school mascot's the Dragon, so we call it the Dragon Dome Studios, which it's really not. But Jess, good morning, and thank you for being on this morning.
Good morning. Thank you guys for having me.
Good morning, Jess. Jess, this is David B., and I've been kind of the one you've been talking with on Instagram about setting up for today, and we greatly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to meet with us this morning. Jess, can you give us a little bit of background on how you got started in this industry and what quote unquote drove you to be where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, before I started driving, I was an insurance agent for about 5 years. I sold property and casualty insurance through a couple different companies. And during the pandemic, I just decided that I wanted to take a different career path. So it was actually a joke between my friend and I, and we both were just kind of chatting, saying, let's do something different. Let's do something that we've never done before, nothing that anybody would ever consider doing. And we start looking at different trucking companies and how to get into CDL school. And I went for it full head first, and it's been going ever since.
So tell us about so you used to drive for, I'm watching your videos.
Yes.
You used to drive for an LTL company, I believe. And then who do you drive for now? Not necessarily, you don't need to give the name of who you drive for, but what you're an over the road driver now, I'm assuming. And I think you started off in Ohio and now you're in Texas. Can you kind of give us a little bit of background on that also?
Oh, yes. So I initially started with a flatbed company. They helped me with get my CDL, and I tried flatbed for maybe about a week or two. I got through the training, got through the securement program, and then I just kind of found out that it wasn't for me. So salute to all the flatbed drivers because it really is hard work. Once I left flatbed, I did go straight to dry van. I was over the road regional, so I was in the Midwest region delivering for an electronics account with my first company. And that's what really gave me that experience of maneuverability and, just learning how to trip plan. And then decided to team drive and move to Texas. So I was with the same company, went over the road. We were team driving from Texas to Illinois. It was a dedicated account. And then I took a step back from being over the road, wanted to kind of find that work-life balance. And now I'm on a dedicated home daily account.
Oh, nice. So that's got to be a good thing then, if you're home often. And how do you? And talk to us about growing up in Ohio. I'm assuming you grew up in Ohio. Talk to us about growing up in Ohio and then now your transition to Texas. Has it been a easy change for you? Is there a night and day difference, or talk to us about that?
And whatever you do, Jess, do not bring up that football team. Jess, these guys will fall out of their chairs.
We're going to hang up on you, Jess, if you mention that university.
The football team?
Yeah.
Yes, so I was born and raised in Dayton, Ohio. It is very much different from going from Ohio to Texas.
I bet.
So much, yes. It's very hot down here. It's supposed to be up to like 106 degrees. And every time I look at my forecast, I'm just astonished. I can't believe the temperature will ever get that high.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up in Ohio, just typical upbringing, school, family, working,
right,
and watching the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Oh my God, hang up on her. Jesus. We said not to mention that. And anyway, so do you still have family back in Ohio?
Yes, my whole family is back in Ohio. That's correct.
Awesome. So we're broadcasting from Indianapolis. So if you're ever in the area, please let us know, and we would love to meet up with you in person, buy you a cup of coffee or something. Put a face to the name and kind of get to know you a little bit better. So what part of Texas are you currently in?
The Dallas area.
I am. Jesus. So now please don't tell us. Please don't tell us.
I went from one extreme to the next. Buckeyes to Cowboys.
Probably two of the most hated sports.
Right.
Were you a Cincinnati Bengals fan, or now are you because they had a pretty good year last year, or did you grow up?
That's what I was gonna say. I pretty much was a Cincinnati Bengals fan by default.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And I was proud of those guys this year. Actually, in Ohio, they closed the schools for the Super Bowl.
Wow.
They were thrilled to have a day off.
That's how big football is.
Yes.
It must have been a snow day or something, right? A cold day and wherever that. Wow.
Everybody in Cleveland still had to go to school, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just from Dayton south, you got the day off.
Cleveland was in detention.
I get it.
So, Jess, what did your mom and dad do? What brought you guys to Dayton, Ohio?
Well, my family, my grandparents, one side is from Little Rock, Arkansas. Then I have the other side of my family, my father's side, is from Georgia. So just during those times, they migrated up to Ohio for the industrial boom. That's what I'm looking for, the industrial boom. And my family settled there ever since. And my dad was actually a truck driver back in the early 90s as well. Now, they tell me I was on the truck with him before, but of course I don't recall. And my mother was a nurse for many years. So they both were pretty proud that when I started driving trucks, my dad, of course, was familiar and was able to give me kind of some of the things to expect out here. And my mom, of course, on the other hand, was just be careful, and me just explaining that trucking is a lot different than it was back then, kind of set her at ease. And
so I was going to say, what is their thoughts on a woman in the trucking, right? Your dad's been around. It's very male dominant. Yes. We talk about it a lot on the Ship's Gonna Happen show. How do we get women into this industry? Because it's very male dominant. Yes. So what do you think their thoughts were? I mean, your dad had seen it all. Was it a go-getter type done? Go get it. And you're like, yeah, Jess Trucking Around. Here I come. Let's go.
Well, my family were a little on the uneasy side because you do hear the stories of trucking where a lot of drivers may either get stuck or, that they're forced to drive the loads under no any circumstances or any conditions.
Right.
But once I was introduced to the training program and how well prepared they were setting their drivers to be successful drivers on the road, I think that kind of put my family more at ease. And I do encourage women to get out on the road because there are so many useful resources out here. Drivers really look out for one another. And that's one of the reasons I started my YouTube channel, just to kind of show the transparency of the trucking industry. That it's not as scary as a lot of people make it out to be.
It's a fraternity, right? That's what we talk about that a lot. How it's truckers look out for truckers. I feel like, you can even see, in my opinion, you can see people in just their regular cars. The guys that are flashing their headlights at the semi, they're leaving that space cushion just in their regular vehicles. So I feel like the trucking family is the most underappreciated thing out there.
That's a good point.
Again, without trucks, we have nothing. Everyone has nothing without trucks. So very unappreciated, and it's very scary. You think about, I'd say late 70s, early 80s, even though I'm not that old, but big burly guys with beards and overalls driving trucks, right?
Driving a truck.
Chewing tobacco, spitting everywhere, right? So,
and here you
a
got
pretty lady like yourself. I'm like, man, she's over here.
Jess is all dolled up, got her braces on, got her braces going, and she's representing the females, which is well done.
Yeah.
You do a great job.
A lot of people did have questions about where do we shower and how do we keep ourselves up. So now with platforms like YouTube and TikTok, we are able to just show the insides of our trucks, how we get the showers, how you can receive rewards, for just fueling at certain fuel stations.
It's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Do you like meeting people? Like when you stop at truck stops, do you like talking to other truckers and kind of picking their brain about the industry, or are you more just keep it to yourself, get in, get out, and move on?
I am more keep it to myself. I do, just hold the door, say hello, tell people to have a good day, but I am more to myself out here.
How long have you been driving? I mean, and we knew that you did insurance and stuff, but how long have you been driving?
I've been driving for about a year and 6 months.
Oh, so really new, very new. Is this a career? Is this something? Was this the right decision? I guess is what I'm trying to get to.
Yes, I do believe that it was the right decision because it's given me a lot of opportunities that I don't think any other industry would have presented to me. As a female trucker, a lot of people do admire that and want to know how we do it and how we stay focused out here. So I do believe I made a really good decision. And even with it giving me the opportunity to move down to Texas, that was life-changing within itself.
Right. Yeah, it's good. So do you see yourself doing this for a little while longer? I mean, and are you currently team driving with your boyfriend? Is that correct or no?
I am no longer team driving. I am local. I run a dedicated account, so I get to be back at home every day to tend to my doggie.
Nice. What's your dog's name? I forget.
What dog we got?
Yes, her name is Cinnamon. She's a
I love that name.
I actually
love that name.
I actually got that video just pulled up right here. Yeah, I was going to show these guys that.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty dog. Yeah,
nice. Is that country music?
Yeah,
I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you.
Was that? Yeah, well, that's a good question. Is that your taste, or was that just free and available?
Well, that's what was free and available, but I do find myself getting into a zone when I turn on my country music and just riding down into the road and looking at the grass.
Are you starting to cry with the country music going on? Do tears roll down your cheek?
Who's your favorite artist in the country music world?
I would have to give it to Luke Combs.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
I'm not sure.
Tim does.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Jess, so you know.
Tim's got a fan. He's in the same country music.
Here we go.
He's going to tell you when
we're going to hang up on you.
Next.
David B knows pretty much everything underneath the sun except country.
Yeah, I can't.
Matty Ice that fills in for me. He knows him and Dave B go all the way back. Know any song from the 40s through the when we decide about the mid 90s, basically.
Probably, yeah.
And country's not there too. So I grew up. I liked rap growing up, the early 90s rap, and then I got into country later in life. I know I sound country, but I didn't grow up country. So, but now I like country. But we go out, and he's like, "Do you know this?" I'm like, "I got no clue who this is." Right? Like, I've heard the song, but no clue. And that's all they listen. But they listen to everything but country.
Yeah.
So.
But country.
Teach their own. Teach their own, I guess. So it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, the CMA's going on right now, Jess. You should be going to that and partying it up down there in Nashville.
There we go.
Maybe.
So how young is Cinnamon?
Cinnamon is 2.
All right, so about the same, about as long as you've been driving. Then you've had Cinnamon, so that's good. That's good. And you're liking it down in Texas so far. I know you just kind of went down there, but you're liking this move.
I am enjoying it. It's so much more to do than Ohio.
What?
It's so much more to do if I want to just go out and take a workout class, because I've been really trying to involve myself, like I said, into the work-life balance of keeping myself healthy and being social. Being on the truck, you can find yourself being isolated sometimes. So just trying to find that balance, and I think I'm doing pretty well being down here in Texas with doing that.
She's even dropping knowledge for all you truckers out there. We talk about how do you guys eat healthy, how do you do this. The last couple we had, and we talked about them working out, things like. So truck drivers do a lot to keep themselves. They're just not throwing down hot dogs at every stop in a big gulp.
No,
right? They got a lot too. And and if you guys go watch her YouTube channel, she's very beautiful. You can tell that she keeps herself up to date, and that she doesn't live that what is stereotypical.
Not at all.
Of the trucker out there.
Do you find it hard, Jess, to maintain that healthy balance when you're driving? Because we've talked to some truckers. Some seem to have a hard time finding that healthy food. At the stops, there doesn't seem to be the health concern, right?
Right. In the beginning, it was a hard balance, because when I was over the road, I would find myself purchasing too much food, and then it would get wasted, unfortunately. And then, if you do decide to eat out of the truck stops or the restaurants that are closed, a lot of the truck stops carry the same fruits, so there's not a wide variety, and you find yourself eating the melons, the pineapples, and the apples, just over and over. But with me being local, I am, of course, able to find different recipes to try. But even when I was team driving, we would try to pack minimally, but at the same time, just keep it interesting, I guess, to speak. But it is kind of hard to find that balance in the beginning.
I always love you stop by a truck stop, and now the bag of Doritos is like a mini big bag of Doritos.
Oh,
right? For $2.75 versus a 75-cent bag, right? It's like, let's go ahead and get it. And then you're in there, you don't want them to go stale. You might as well eat the son of a gun. You're right. Next thing you got the bag of Doritos down, 2 chili dogs, and a whole Mountain Dew, and you're like, let's get after it.
Yeah, $2.75 for a bag of air, and there's some chips in there too. So that's how that kind of works out. So Jess, on this dedicated run that you're kind of on, and it gets you home nightly, do you see yourself staying in this? Is this your preferred kind of way to truck so far, even though you've only been doing this for a year and a half? Are you liking it?
I do enjoy being at home every day. It's a pretty easy route. I think I've had my fair share of being over the road, experiencing the different weather conditions and the tough backing. I do eventually see myself going back over the road, but for now, this is a good fit for me.
Nice. Does Cinnamon get to ride shotgun the whole time, or?
She does. She
does.
Nice. Yes, and she loves this. She's always so excited. Even on the days that I don't work, when I let her out for the restroom, she just runs to the car.
Right.
I'm not going anywhere, but she jumps up on the truck, and she just loves it just as much as we do.
Awesome.
That's what about flatbed did you not like? Just so everyone knows, in my opinion, so you're in Texas now where it's a lot of sun and heat. So I feel like the weather, the rain is probably not as much as a Dayton, Ohio or the Midwest. So I feel like flatbed would be easier down there because you're not doing straps and tarps and things. Is that what you didn't like about the flatbed, or was it just a whole different industry than the dry van over the road type stuff?
Well, flatbed is a lot of strenuous work. You do have to be in shape a little bit, and those tarps are really heavy.
Oh, I bet.
The 4-foot tarp is 100 pounds, and then the 8-foot tarp is 150 pounds.
Dang.
So while we were going through securement, you have to be able to pass that physical test. And I did make it through securement successfully. But once I got out in the field with my trainer, I realized that I may have not been strong enough to continuously do that on the everyday basis. And I recall actually being in Indiana, and it was icy that day, and we had to, of course, get on the flatbed to secure a coil. And I just kept throwing the chain through the coil over and over, and it was just it was bouncing back. So at that moment, I realized that it probably wasn't for me.
Yeah. I can just picture you out there just kept throwing it and just flip this.
Yeah. And I'm only 5 foot, so my head is literally level with the flatbed.
Oh yeah.
Need you a pair of stilts out there.
Yeah.
So the profanity was flying when you were trying to get that chain up and over that, I bet.
Take this coil and shove it. I'm going to move on to the next one.
It was tough.
Jess is like, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So on the flatbed, did you just drive an open flatbed, or did you do what do they call the ones that have the things that slide back on them that slide up? Do you know what I'm talking about, Jess?
It was an open flatbed.
But
so
what's the ones that slide back that have the covers already there, so you don't have to do the tarps? You know what I mean? It can become
I can picture what you're talking about, but
like
I don't know the name of them.
Yeah, I want to call it a stowage or something like that. A stowage flatbed. Something like, okay. So I'm uneducated in the flatbed market, in case anyone was out there wondering. My name is Timmy D on the Ship's Gonna Happen. That's why I'm just talking on a microphone and not in the industry.
That's right. That's right. You are listening to this. Go ahead, Jess. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, so yes, I did do the open flatbed, and in the industry, they're referred to sometimes as skateboards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's. I said I was going to ask, how did you come up with Jess Trucking Around? How did you get that name, and what inspired you to start your own YouTube channels?
Good questions.
Yeah, so I actually took a poll on my Instagram to have my close friends help me with picking out a name. Initially, my YouTube channel name was Jess Ann, which is my first name and middle name. But I didn't feel like that was catering to the trucking industry and the female drivers that would be able to find other female drivers. So I just took a poll, and a couple friends responded, and I kind of mixed and matched the names up and came up with Jess Trucking Around. And then there was no one else with that name. So I thought it was perfect.
Oh, win-win.
Yeah. And the reason I decided to start my YouTube channel is to show people like myself and women out there that it can be done. I initially started when I was in training with Maverick, the company I got my CDL with. And I wanted to show the whole journey through, from the time I went to training, how I got approved from the application, to the everyday things that I go through out here on the road.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think you've done a damn good job, especially coming from a young person in the industry, not only actually being young, but young in the industry itself. I think it's very informative that you have the courage to be going out there, putting yourself out there and trying to be informative. And it's really good tips. And I think a lot of people, they always say the best question is the one that doesn't go asked, right? If you ever heard that, and you're a person that's not shy to go out there and educate everybody and say, I know this has crossed my mind, and if it's on your mind, it's probably on everybody else that just started in the industry, right? So, you've got the old dogs that still do it a certain way, and then you got a new generation. I think, who was it? We talked to someone that, how'd you learn about trucking? They're like, well, I just YouTube videos on how to do it. So that's crazy.
That's
technology's right there. Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly how I got the confidence to continue to apply and see if I could do it, because going through my CDL school, it was tough getting the maneuverabilities down and just being up so high. I remember the first time I actually got into the truck, I my heart was fluttering because I could see everything, you know, and driving a 4-wheeler is so much different.
Instead of looking at the world 5 feet up, now you're looking at the world 10 feet up or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Not to make a joke on it, but you got to own it. How do you drive at 5 feet tall, a big rig? You got to talk to me about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit us with this last, how you get it done, because I know you're short on time. So tell us, because I know it's got to cross there. It's crossed my mind. 5 feet tall? Come on now, talk to me. Tell me the truth.
Well, I sit on a booster seat.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm joking. We have air in our seats, so they go up pretty high. They go down. You can adjust the seat and the steering wheels. They go in and out, up and down. Just you can of course move your mirrors. So it's catered to any size.
What about the pedals? What about the pedals? Seriously.
I can reach the pedals. I just adjust
I gotta ask.
Yes.
my seat.
I think you need to do one inside the cab. I'm just curious. I don't know.
I should do a video. I find myself a lot of times making my videos, of course, once I park and kind of chit-chatting with you guys. But maybe I'll have a ride along and show you guys.
There you go. Yeah. So Jess.
Maybe send them in a holder camera.
There we go. Yeah. Put cinnamon to work. Put cinnamon to work. I like that. So you are listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. We've got Jess Trucking Around on with us. And Jess, you've been an absolute joy to have on this morning. Can you give us, if you don't mind, can you give us, this is Jess Trucking Around and you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. Would you mind doing that for us?
Yeah, sure.
Go right ahead whenever you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
All right. This is Jess Trucking Around and you're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show.
Oh, well done. Well done. Take one.
Job.
We got it on take
thanks
one.
for taking some time out this morning. I truly appreciate it. Go ahead, Tony B.
I just have one more question for you. So you early on, you mentioned that you and your friends jumped into the trucking industry, right? That you kind of got to get. So are those friends still in it?
No, and that's the ironic part. She brought the idea to me, and I continued with the pursuing of the career, looking at YouTube videos, reaching out to other drivers, and she just didn't go through with it. Now she is in the transportation industry, but she's not on the CDL truck driving side.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right, that's good. And so, Jess, would you be willing to come back on the show sometime before the end of the year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. You've been an outstanding guest this morning. You're listening to the Ship's Gonna Happen show. This is Jess Trucking Around, and Jess, you've been outstanding.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Outstanding, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule today.
Hey,
and
Jess, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dave.
No, and we look forward to having you back.
Yeah,
so.
we'll have you back, and if you could give us a shout out, and then I was going to say, I watched a lot of your videos. You are a professional person. You're a beautiful person. Appreciate what you do out there in the industry, and wish you nothing but the best.
Jess, one more thing, and Tony mentioned it. If you don't mind, can you give us a shout out on one of your videos coming up?
I sure will.
If you don't mind.
I plan to make a video about trip planning, so I'm going to include how to pull over and take an interview call.
And do not mention that university, please.
University. When you do our shout out,
that starts with Buck and
I tell you what, the day you do the shout out, you should wear an Ohio State shirt.
No, you shouldn't, Jess.
You know what? That's a good idea.
That was not Jess. Don't listen to these jack-offs anyway. Don't listen to these guys.
A shout out from the Ohio State Buckeye. Jess Trucking Around.
If you're ever coming through Indy, Jess, please let us know, and we'll buy you a cup of coffee, or we'll get you a salad or a banana or whatever, and we'd like to meet up with you.
Yep. Yeah. And I almost forgot. How do people get a hold of you, Jess? Where do everybody find you at? How do we find you?
Yes, I am actually reachable on YouTube. I do respond to my comments at Jess Trucking Around, as well as on TikTok and Instagram. Same name, Jess Trucking Around.
Okay. Awesome. Nice. Jess, you're the best. Thank you very much.
Have a good weekend, Jess.
Yep.
Take care.
Well.
God bless.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
Yep.
Outstanding.